Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of You, Me, and He. We are a podcast, and frankly, my dear, we don't give a damn. I am your host. I'm your host, Rob Lambert, and I'm joined by my co-host.
This is Josh Frankenstein.
And this is Drew Carroll.
I thought I'd go with something a little classic there, fellas.
No, I did like it. It was classy. But the one thing I do have to ask you is, with that last four-letter word at the end, did we just screw up our rating?
No. If you remember, back in the 90s, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Raphael yells the word damn like 3 times.
Yeah,
and it was like PG. It was like PG.
Okay,
He was
all
fine,
right. I'm just checking.
yeah.
I just want to make sure. I know that's not really considered a swear word by most people's standards today, but I don't know where Apple sits on things. So, I just wanted to ask.
I mean, if Rhett Butler could say it in Gone with the Wind, I think we're probably okay. Fellas, speaking of movies, I was just kind of dabbling through the web a little bit, and 2 things came to my attention that I have to say. One, I'm very excited about. The other, we'll touch on briefly. But did you hear? There is a new Die Hard film coming out, and they have released the title, fellas.
What is it?
Are you excited for Die Hard, Drew?
Die hard. Never will die hard.
Die Hard. What does that mean?
It's simply called McClane.
just McLean.
Just
So
McClane.
Not even Die Hard.
No, it's just going to be called McClane.
So it's not another Die Hard. It's like a spin-off of Die Hard.
Yeah, like maybe it's going to be called Die Hard, McClane. But
Or
get this.
Or it's McLean just sitting there literally reading his autobiography.
A spokesperson from 20th Century Fox said that they're simply calling it McClane because they want you to get invested in John McClane more than ever before. I'm like, what?
Wow.
We've watched this guy almost die like 100 times. How much more invested could we be? I don't know, dude.
And he never died hard.
Why don't they ever do sequels of the good movies?
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa.
Whoa.
Slow thine roll, my friend.
Whoa.
Are you saying Die Hard was not a good film?
Whoa.
I'm not saying it wasn't good, but there's too many of them for sure, dude.
See, I don't know if there can be too many diehards.
Yes, there can. There
That's
is
why
right
I wish
now.
they had gone with another Die Hard.
Dude,
instead
they're
of
running
McLean.
out of titles. They're running out of titles.
Here's the deal. When it was like, okay, so Die Hard, of course, an amazing holiday family film. We all love it. We all know it. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. I mean, they kind of take things to the next level. It's awesome.
So lame,
My
dude.
issue was once they hit Die Hard 3, I feel like they made 2 mistakes. One, they included Samuel L. Jackson.
Always a mistake.
And 2,
that right there is a good example of a dying franchise.
but then number 2, rather than him like just taking down a bunch of bad guys, it was like all these puzzles. It was almost like, do you remember the game Castle of Dr. Brain? Like,
Sure don't.
you don't remember? Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways,
Was that
Dude, that
what
was
you
a-
played after
Dude.
D&D?
bro, that was a deep cut. That was a deep cut from the 90s. Anyways,
Those movies, dude, they're good, but they're not good over and over again.
so here's the deal. People were wondering, like, is this going to be a Die Hard where they focus on like a young John McClane, so there is no Bruce Willis, and they're saying like they can't see making a Die Hard without Bruce Willis. So this is what they say: we're going to explore John McClane in his 20s, but we will also feature him prominently as the 60-year-old version. So, like,
He's gonna be like a
At this
time
point-
traveler.
Wait.
Wait, is this
wait.
Looper?
What?
yes, Josh, John McClane is 60 years old.
He was in that one
He
too.
brought back Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I forgot
Whoa, wait a
Bruce
minute.
Willis was even in that one also, dude.
Are you insinuating that maybe Looper and Die Hard are in the same universe? Josh?
Definitely. Definitely
You just-
insinuating that now.
Oh
You
man,
just blew my mind. Okay. So anyways, new Die Hard is coming. 60-year-old John McClane. It's going to be one heck of a thrill ride. But, fellas, some other movie news that I found today that I just don't know how to wrap my mind around this. So I'm just going to read the headline. Steve Guttenberg says new Police Academy movie is coming.
Oh, no.
Now, apparently some guy reached out to Steve Guttenberg on Twitter and said, hey, Steve, you need to make another Police Academy movie. And Steve Guttenberg said, and I quote on Twitter, Adam, the next Police Academy movie is coming. No details yet, but it is in a gift bag being readied.
That was 10 years ago.
Still waiting for the GoFundMe to pick up.
Well, here's the deal. I think the main question on everybody's mind is, who follows Steve Guttenberg on Twitter? What is happening here? Anyways.
You know, he's just been waiting all this time for just one person to ask him to make that movie.
See, boss? See, they want another. They want another because 6 wasn't enough.
Dude, how many did it make? Was it 6? Oh, yeah, that's all we need is that guy back.
Oh, my gosh. There were 7 movies.
Oh, dude.
7. There were 7.
See, that's insane
I thought there were
to me,
6.
too.
I didn't even. I never heard of this.
I haven't seen all of them for sure. I've maybe seen 2 or 3 of them.
Wait, I think there was 7. All I know is the last one was Police Academy Mission to Moscow, and
Probably lame.
at that point, I mean, what are they going to do now? Like,
that they haven't already done.
yeah, for real. I mean, like, Police Academy in space. I don't know what's going to happen.
We're going international. Yeah, Space Force.
Actually, dude, that's the first thing that I thought of too. Police Academy.
Oh, no.
Mission to the moon.
Anyways, dude.
Wow.
Dude, that's so terrible.
Steve Guttenberg is on Twitter, apparently, and you know he's probably just paying his buddies, hey, man, tweet me to make a new 3 Men and a Baby. Just do it. Just do it. Let's see what happens.
So bad.
3 Men and a Baby.
Action blockbusters heading our way. So,
Oh, my gosh.
Who at Fox Studios decided to look back and say, hey, you know what we should do? We should revive the last part and the beginning of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. You know what there's not enough of? Police Academy.
What's with all these cop films?
Hey, dude, next thing you know, we're going to see another Weekend at Bernie's. What else can you do with this dead guy?
yeah, for real.
Bernie of the
All
Dead.
I'm saying is that Moose may have its work cut out for it. So, speaking of Mission to Moscow, Josh, how you doing?
That makes no sense. I have not been anywhere near Moscow. I will not go anywhere near Moscow. However, I did go to San Francisco this weekend to enjoy the Labor Day weekend. So
Excellent.
Yeah, that, and I met a Russian. So I guess
there you go.
That's as close to Moscow as I'm ever going to get, to be honest. So it was really funny. While we were there this weekend, me and my wife and our friends it was Friday night, and we were just jolting around the city, like going and finding places to hang out and stuff like that. And one of our Uber drivers was a Russian, and like he had like the thick, like I'm talking from a John McClane film, Russian accent, like a really thick Russian accent. And he wasn't real talkative in the Uber ride, right? But while we were in that ride, my buddy was riding up front. He's the one that paid for the Uber. Left his iPhone 10 on the front seat, like when we got out and left, right? So
good.
Yeah, he left his phone, didn't realize until like 45 minutes later after we were at a bar that he didn't have his phone anymore. So like he and I were scrambling, like looking around the bar, like on the floor to see if it was there. Didn't find it. Had no idea where it was. We tried calling it like several times, like nobody's picking it up, right? And so finally, a few days later on Sunday, he finally gets the number of the Uber driver, and he calls the Uber driver from his wife's phone, and the Uber driver just got done like being on like a 10-hour shift or something. So he was on like a 10-hour shift through the night, slept for like 6 hours. And my buddy woke him up from his deep sleep.
You've woken the bear.
So, dude, what ensued was like just one of the funniest conversations I've ever had, like the option of listening to. It was phenomenal. Like from the very beginning, like the Uber driver's just like, who is this? Just like yells at him as soon as like he picks up the phone. Why you call? Like who number is this? Like just like yelling stuff out, right? And Matt, my buddy, is like, he's trying to tell me, he was like, yeah, I was on I was on your car like on Friday night. You took us from Mission Street to this bar called Jackson. Anyway, he tried describing it over and over. Gave him the time frames, gave him the streets, gave him how much the fare was and everything like that. And the guy was just not connecting, dude, like because he was not all there. Like
Not awake yet.
Not awake, right?
He probably had such a crazy night after that, dude. He probably like fought people and stuff. And he's like, y'all trying to call him about an iPhone.
I know, dude. Anyway, finally, after my buddy like tries to like tell him all of these things to try and get him to remember, he's like, the guy in the cowboy hat. And he was like, oh, the guy in the cowboy hat. Yes.
Like, oh, yes, John Wayne. I remember you very well.
And so he goes on like that, dude. Hello, friend. For like 30 seconds, right? And Matt tries telling him like, I left my phone in your car. He was like, I'm sorry. He's like,
now he's pretending he doesn't understand.
Yeah. He was like, I think I left my phone in your car on that ride. Did you find a phone in your car? He's like, I always have phone in my car. And Matt was like, no, I know, but did you find an additional phone in your car? And he was like, oh yeah, in passenger seat. I find another phone. What kind of phone was it? Matt was like, an iPhone? And he was like, hold on, let me check. He breaks away from the phone for a second. And he's just like quiet. And he comes back. And he's like, what phone you say it was? And Matt's like, an iPhone 10. And he was like, oh yeah, I have iPhone here. Yes, I definitely have iPhone here. What's your name again? So Matt gives him his name, and he tries to work out like a time or a place to like go and like meet with him, right? And so the guy asked like, what hotel are we staying at? And Matt gives him the location of the hotel that we're staying at, trying to figure out times because the guy's like, I'm not going anywhere right now. I'm still tired. Like just won't like work anything out with him like right away, right? And then finally, for some reason, it circles back to the beginning again for like absolutely no reason.
Who is this?
Yeah, see who this is again. And Matt's like, the same guy you've been talking to for the last like 10 minutes?
Maybe he's like short-term memory loss.
But what your name? And Matt's like, Matt. I just he was like, oh yeah. Cowboy hat. He's like, yeah.
So you're so drawn to the cowboy hat.
We're trying to figure out what's going on. And so they can't figure out a time to like, try and meet up or whatever. And so the guy says, tell you what, how about you take my number and you call me later and then we figure out time. And Matt's like, okay, I'm ready for it. And he rattles off his number. Matt writes it down. And then Matt tries to confirm the number by repeating it back. And the guy, his response literally was, how'd you get that number?
That is amazing. Oh my gosh.
And Matt's like, sir, you just gave it to me. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm sorry. I just got done driving all night long.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So I'm looking at Matt's wife. I'm looking at my wife, and we're just like, he's never getting his phone back.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like ever. So I mean, he talks with them a little bit more, and I swear they have the same conversation a third time about the phone. Gosh. Yeah, dude.
How long did he have to wait before he got the phone?
He got it the next day because this was Saturday night. He got it Sunday. The Uber driver actually finally came and met him at our hotel Sunday morning at like 9:00. So he did get his phone back.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it was the most hilarious thing I have heard in so long. Yeah, I was in the front seat because at the time when he called, we were actually in a Lyft that I had paid for. So I was in the front seat and he's talking to this guy and I am with the Lyft driver, dude, we are just busting up laughing like so hard because of what's ensuing in the back on this call. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, it was hilarious. It was so funny.
I just imagine,
dude.
him coming to meet you, and he's like, "Wait, who are you? Where am I?"
You don't have cowboy hat.
he's like, "Okay, I'm here for you to give me my phone back. What's happening?" Yeah, remember you drove me in an Uber yesterday. I mean, how do you forget this?
Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Oh, it was
So
hilarious.
good.
It was hilarious, dude. So as scary as it is, and I know how scary it is to like feel like you've lost your phone. Like that made it all worth it, dude. That conversation alone was just fantastic. So, and Matt, if you're listening, your story just made the podcast.
And I just do want to clarify, through that entire story, it was painfully clear that for Josh, a Russian person sounds like a caveman. So that made it even sweeter for me.
Anyway,
dude. That's
how was
cool.
your week, Drew?
Dude, my week was long. Today was my 8th day in a row at work. My wife left on Saturday for a wedding out of town, and her and the daughter didn't come back until Sunday.
So you got some sleep.
Yeah, but then as soon as she got the kid home, dude, she started crying, and she hasn't stopped yet.
Wait, the kid or your wife?
The kid, dude. It's just been like nonstop, and we've tried everything, dude. And you know, she has like a sinus problem, and that's not helping. She always has boogers.
It's funny how quickly you go from the name of the child to my daughter to the kid.
That's how tired I am, dude. It's been a
Wait,
long
who are you? He's like, wait, this is a baby? What is your name?
Yeah, so it's been a long 2 days, dude. But anyways, so while they were gone, I went over to my buddy Luke's house, and in the last, I would say probably 8 months, him and I have gotten pretty serious about ping pong. We play a lot.
Dude, that game is actually really easy to get addicted to.
It's in, dude.
Yeah.
It's like at the point where like our wives will, towards the end of the night, they're like, okay, it's time to go. And we're like, we're in
One
the
more
middle.
game.
We're in the middle of a 5 series here, a 5-game series. So it's gonna be a while.
You're like, it's 30 love. I can't leave now.
So, back when I first started my career at the company I work for, the guy that I got hired on with, he and I were going to training at the same time. And where we were going to training, there was a ping pong table. And we played for like 8 hours straight one night because it started off as a best of 5.
Oh, dude.
And
No, it always starts as a light rally.
Yeah.
And then it instantly goes aggressive. And you're like, let's play for points.
Yeah, it just kept going on and on and on, dude. It was just like, best of 5 turned into best of 7, turned into best of 9, best of 11.
Yeah.
But we just kept going back and forth, like whoever won next. Like, I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it was,
Dude, so that's how it started out with us. And, gradually over time, it was just like, we would just do rallies, dude. And a lot of times it was trick shots, and we weren't even playing, dude. And then when we got into like competitive playing, it would just got like
out of control.
Oh, just brutal, dude. Yeah. So I went on a winning streak for probably like 2 months, dude, where I was undefeated. And then immediately
that's a
after,
streak right there.
and then he beat me, dude. And then he went on a streak for like a month where I didn't win a single match, dude.
Oh my gosh.
So then he goes, because it's in his garage, dude, and there's like black lights around the edges. They did like neon tape, and they play with a white ball, and it's like a glowing blue when
That's
you're playing.
cool.
Dude,
That's rad.
it's so sick.
So was this before or after you ran across America and bought out Bubba Gump Shrimp Company?
Dude, I feel like Forrest when I'm playing, dude. We've gotten to that level now. And so when he was in his streak, he was like, you know what, dude, we should start taking pictures of the winner of each series and we'll hang them up on the wall. And I'm like, all right, dude, that sounds cool. So we do it, and all of a sudden, I've been on a winning streak, dude. There's 3 of my pictures, and he has 0.
Nice.
So I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because when he was winning for that month, dude, he was talking so much crap to me. And now he has to stare at my picture on the wall, dude.
And so the ping pong table's at his place.
Yeah.
So your photo's the only one on the wall
At his house.
at his house. That's awesome. Yes.
So he bought a bunch of gym equipment, dude. So he's maneuvering things in his garage. So now he's maneuvering things to block my wall. So yeah, we just have this incredibly awesome ongoing ping pong.
If I ever lost my job, I think that's what I would do. Sell gym equipment. There seems to be a niche there.
Well, hey, when we come back, we're going to jump into an awesome topic. We are doing Recast a film, Christopher Walken. So stay with us, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Tonight we are talking Recast a film, Christopher Walken. And here's one thing that we can guarantee. These Christopher Walken impressions, they're going to be so bad. Hey, Drew, why don't you start us out, man? Recast a film, Christopher Walken. Come on.
Okay, so Christopher Walken kind of has that mafia style type
Little
thing.
bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's got a little bit, not a lot. He's kind of a goofy guy too.
He's like he's not quite the godfather of an Italian mafia. He's like number 3 because
Like the
he's the one that people would be terrified of, but you can't quite trust him to lead it, you know? It's like-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought it would be cool if he was if he took the place of Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction.
Wait, so I just want to make sure I get this straight. You were actually replacing a black man with a white man in a movie?
Well, yeah, but that's not why. No. It was just because they're both like, it's like a mob thing, you know?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you into that corner. Why don't you tell us?
Yeah. I could just see him saying these like heavy lines, you know, when Marcellus Wallace is like, no, man, I'm pretty effing far from okay. And like, no, man, I'm pretty effing far from okay.
Oh, yes. That was so good. Oh.
That was by far the absolute worst Christopher Walken impression I've ever heard. I mean, don't feel bad though, because I probably got you beat,
Here.
but that was great.
Say that line. Say the top line
can't
in
say-
your Christopher Walken impression.
No, man, I can't do it either.
Oh, my gosh.
No, man. Somehow I got like a hint of Bob Marley in there or something. I don't even know how it happened.
So yeah, dude, I thought that he would. I thought he would be cool for that part.
I'm prepared to scour the earth for that mother.
See, well, you made it through the line. Even that sounded hideous.
Exactly. It was really bad. Dang it.
All right. No, man.
That was awesome. So good. What are we doing here, guys?
Okay. Oh, that what now? I tell you what now between me. No, just kidding.
I think what was most funny about that one is that you made it halfway through and then thought it was bad. Okay.
All right, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. Other than just being able to say the same lines, any other reasons why you would recast Christopher Walken in that movie specifically?
Dude, he's just kind of he's an interesting character, and I think that he could play that boss role And then I would also just love to hear him say all of these lines, dude.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, there's some in here that drop the N word. It's just, it's an unlikely part for somebody like him.
Okay, here's a good one. In the fifth, yeah, goes down. Say it. That's a good one right there.
Oh, well done. Hey, can you try and do the voice one more time?
Yeah. The night of the fight. I was like Borat, dude.
It really was the fight. Come on.
The night of the fight, you may feel a slight sting.
From my wife.
I like you. Do you like me?
So I think that's actually a really good segue because I chose Christopher Walken to replace Sacha Baron Cohen in Borat.
Oh man.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Yeah, no, didn't do that.
I try saying some of Borat's lines. As
Oh
Christopher
gosh,
Walken.
dude, no.
I like it.
I like you.
That one's pretty tough, dude.
Dude, we need an example. This is terrible.
no, this is going really bad. Anyway. So my choice, and I mean, it was a little bit different direction from yours, but I still thought that this would be a good pick. And you could probably choose any Robert De Niro movie to replace Christopher Walken. I mean, okay. I mean, I really think that. I think if you take Robert De Niro in anything, replace Christopher Walken, it's immediately better or more hilarious. One of the two. It doesn't matter. Like you're getting a product. However, I specifically chose Meet the Parents because I thought that would be hilarious. That movie was already in and of itself extremely awkward. Now insert Christopher Walken. And it becomes even more awkward. Not to mention, I would have loved to hear Walken say this classic line. I've got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Why did you have a lisp when you said that?
I don't know. It was an accident. I dare you, Rob. Come on.
Greg, I've got nipples. Could you milk me?
That one was
so bad.
That was unfortunately probably the best one so far.
Is there a best? Is there a best?
Is your name Gaylord Farker? Yes or no?
Wait, so let me get this straight.
gosh.
Your name is Gay Fokker. Dude, I mean, come on. I mean, that movie would have been really hilarious. I mean, I know you don't get quite the same feel like of Robert De Niro, ex-CIA agent or whatever it was, but I feel like he could pull it off. Like he's just crazy enough to be like that trusted ex-CIA agent. And who wants to go home and meet that as your father?
Dude, the hair.
Like-
Yeah, the hair every
Oh my
time.
gosh, no way, dude.
You know, I mean,
Dude, he's rocked it for so long and gotten away with it. Okay, so let's think back to his classic line, right? Cowbell. Think about how he says that, and then we'll apply it to...
oh, dude, even that one. Dude, Walken's just really tough to replicate,
I've got
man.
a fever. And it's more cowbell.
When I'm done with you, y'all be wearing gold-plated diapers.
All right, so that didn't help at all.
No, not one bit. Not one bit. Let me see. Hold on. I've got a fever. It's more cowbell.
And
It's more cowbell. No, I can't do it. Dang, dude, it's tough. He's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
Anyway,
Walken is one of the hardest
so
ones.
yeah, he really is. But I mean, anyway, like that dude, that was one of the first ones. But you take it the next step. You know, I mean, there was a trilogy there. You know, I mean, seeing Walken in all three movies, like with the one-liners that De Niro had in the Meet the Fockers.
They had three of
trilogy.
those?
Yeah, there were three. Just would have been hilarious. Like, I mean,
I
it
don't
would have
remember
been,
if I
it would
saw
have been
the
so
third
funny.
one.
So
Did something get mixed up at the airport again?
Yeah.
when he was on his trip.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Again. So anyway, that was my choice, man. I think replace De Niro with Walken, and you have comedy gold.
Fellas, there is only one role that I believe that Walken was born to play, and yet he was robbed. Yes, I'm talking about the Mad Titan. Walken as Thanos in Infinity War. I want you to imagine Walken wearing the gauntlet.
Is he his normal self? He's not just the voice of Thanos, or is he?
You know, I mean, I like to imagine it's actually Christopher Walken in purple paint.
With the scrotum on
The
his face.
hardest choices require the strongest wills. Dude, when Thor hits him with the axe and he's like, you should have gone for the hat. Dude.
I haven't seen Infinity War, but
What? In the words of Christopher Walken, wow.
That was your best Walken impersonation of the night.
Dude, no, that's
and that
the
was
thing.
just one word.
that was the best
That's
one
the
all
thing.
around.
No.
Yeah, whether you say no or wow, you can fake that you can do an awesome.
Wow!
Wow.
Wow. No, you can't. You can't do it.
Wow!
No,
Wow!
try again.
Wow! Wow! No!
Now you're just starting to
kinda
sound like
sounded-
Scuttles from The Little Mermaid.
Try again. It's wow.
Wow!
Okay, that was a little closer, but
It was
still
closer.
bad.
Yeah, still bad. I mean, dude, I most of the time, Rob, I got to give you props. I feel like you're usually pretty on with your accents, but I don't think anyone wins tonight. Like,
No! This is all really terrible.
as far as the impersonations go. However, I do think our listening audience should be able to poll on which film they'd rather see Walken in. So, I mean, I'd like
true.
to hear
Okay, wait.
what they have to say.
Let me just try one more.
Okay, all right, go.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I hope they remember you. Wow.
You kind of reminded me of what Woody Allen could have sounded like.
As Thanos. Yeah. All right, we're done. Hey, let us know. You know what? Let's do this. Who had the worst Walken impression? Go ahead and let us know on Twitter at youmehepodcast.
Is that a question?
I really hope it's not me.
Hey, you've been on a streak. This is your chance to keep it going.
Yeah, no, this is one I'm totally willing to lose.
I like you.
So good. Oh, perfect. Wow. Okay. No. Wow. Okay. All right. You know, that's the other thing. If you do Owen Wilson, you can usually do the wow too in your wow.
Wow!
Wow.
Wow!
You guys are both
No.
failing at that one as well. In fact, that was so bad, I'm not even going to try. I'm just
Okay,
gonna,
excellent. Good call. All right. Speaking of keeping the conversation going on social media, tonight we have a listener question from Mr. Benjamin Ryan Cooper via Twitter, and he asks us this. Fellas, what is the most unfortunate name that a doctor could have? You're going to the doctor, you look at the nameplate, and it's just bad news. What's the most unfortunate name?
I visited a urologist quite a bit last year for some liver and kidney problems, and I think a rough one in his field would be Dr. Burns.
Yeah, that's probably not quite the profession you want to go into with the last name Burns. I think I could agree with that. That'd be
Well,
pretty
and then
difficult.
also who's the doctor that you pick what you specialize in. You're like, I'm deciding that I'm going into the male urinary tract.
Dude, it's a beautiful machine that he sees working. No, I can't even do it. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm happy for them.
Dude, you going to get your vasectomy from Dr. Cutter? That could be rough.
Cudder.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's never spelled the exact same way that you think it should be. But still, you're like, hard pass.
You're like, I've made a huge mistake.
Really haven't thought this one through.
Your name is Dr. Cutter. Wow.
There it is. We stepped
That
out
was
of it, and
finally,
then there you go.
finally one that I think I could get on board with. Yes. Yes.
I think you
not
just have
too
to
shabby.
you have to hurl yourself into it
Yeah,
rather than
and
trying
kind
to
of get
prepare.
maybe a little loud too. I feel
Yeah.
like you got a little louder on that one too. Yeah,
you have to
not
get that
bad.
excitement in
It
there.
was good.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Hey,
Oh, that wasn't too bad, dude. Okay. All right.
I got something to tell you.
Oh no,
Oh,
you
no,
lost.
no. Didn't work that time.
First, when you did your impression, I was like, "Wow!" But then I was like, "No."
Yeah, that's spotty.
Yeah.
We thought we got a little wind under our wings there for a second. Anyway,
yeah.
so my choice was because I actually had a doctor by this name, and he was my orthodontist. But I thought, how could it be worse, right?
Oh, I remember this one,
yeah,
dude.
how could it be worse? So the doctor that I had, his name actually was Dr. Payne, Payne, and he was my orthodontist. However, you definitely don't want to go see Dr. Payne, the proctologist. That would just be really bad. And then how could you take a doctor serious who was also a proctologist whose name was Dr. Bumspread? Like, yeah, that wouldn't be
I thought you were
good.
going to say something like Doc Brown or something like that.
Dr. Bumspread.
I just thought that was funny.
What are you here for? Bumspread.
No. But who are you seeing?
Yeah, Bumspread.
Exactly.
Sir, you're making me uncomfortable. I need to ask you to leave.
It's your office.
Bum spread.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
yeah, those were my two names. One was actually legit. That would be an unfortunate name, but the other one is just funny. You know?
Dude, Bumspread would be hilarious, dude.
And not
There's
likely.
nobody.
Yeah.
There's got to be nobody who has the last name Bumspread.
I don't
we
know.
Gotta Google
Maybe
this.
we
In
better
the whole
find
world,
out.
All right.
You think nobody has the last name Bumspread?
Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. This may be. I may regret this. I am right now going to Google Dr. Bumspread and see if anything comes up.
I guarantee you someone in the XXX industry has that name.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm saying this may be a fool's errand, but
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
There is a Dr. Bumspread, but he's in the adult entertainment industry.
Unfortunately, no Dr. Bumspread, so
No,
you're
but
good.
there is somebody with the last name Bumspread. Are you spelling it right, dude?
Dude, I mean, I'm B-U-M spread, right?
Yeah, that's probably it.
BUMM.
Here. I'll Google Mr. Bumspread. I'm sure that's
That's definitely someone in the
this is going to be bad news. What am I doing? Oh, thank you, Jesus. No results containing your search terms. We're good. I'm done.
I'm gonna call it a night and chalk that up as a win.
Yeah, that was Russian roulette if I've ever heard of it, right there. So,
Who gave you that number?
fellas, as we come to the end of our time, as always, let us talk about what we've learned. Number one, according to Josh, Russians sound like cavemen.
Try again.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
No, that was good. Number two.
Number two, it kind of coincides. Christopher Walken, we owe you an apology. We're so sorry. We are so sorry. What are we doing?
I'm not.
And number three, I can say with confidence, if you Google Dr. Bumspread, you're going to be fine. It's okay. Don't even worry about it. Holy cow. Never felt so lucky in my life. I should go play the lotto right now.
Or buy that domain name because it's gonna be hot, dude.
DrBumspread.com. This is so bad. Oh my gosh. All right. First of all, we want to apologize. Second of all, we just want to say thank you so much for everybody who listens and supports the show. Make sure that wherever you get your podcast, you go and leave us a review there. I'm guessing it probably won't be 5 stars for this one, but we appreciate it anyway. And until next time, I'm your host, Rob Lambert.
This is Josh Frankenstein.
And this is Drew Carroll.
Wow.
No.
Have a good night, everybody.